Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 513 podcast. I'm Nick Nickel, also known as Bengals Storm. Not here with any co-hosts today, but I'm here with a very special guest, Ohio State punter, Bengals punter, number 4, Drue Chrisman. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Yep, great having you on. Great having you on. I can't talk right now, but great having you on. Hope OTAs are doing great for you, man.
No, it's been good. Yeah, first week back here. It's always fun to just kind of get back and chat with the guys, see all the new life updates, and start getting back to work. So
Let's get on with the questions. First, I want to ask you, can you talk to me about the process of how you had to fight for that starting punter spot? You get injured your rookie year with that hand injury, and then second year you didn't win it initially, but you got in week 11?
yeah, it
But
was late in the season. It was right after that bye week. Yeah.
Could you tell me how the process was to finally getting that job?
Yeah, I mean, it took some time, took some patience. Certainly that first year didn't go kind of as planned. I'd gotten that hand injury in training camp, and actually it was really leading up to training camp. So I couldn't participate at all. Didn't get any preseason film. So the last game film I had was college, and from my experience, the special teams coordinators in the NFL like to see NFL film. So it took a little bit more persuading to get some opportunities, but I was able to get about half the season. No, actually, it was only about like 5 or 6 games if I think back on it, or weeks with the Bengals on the practice squad. And luckily, they liked me enough to give me a futures contract at the end of the season, and kind of take 2 on trying to win the job. And I was able to get some preseason film and be able to go through a whole training camp and compete. And again, they liked me enough to keep me around, and just kind of rode the practice squad until ultimately they ended up making a decision and kind of handed me the reins to see what I can do with it. And certainly that was a pretty wild week for not only me and just kind of my whole family, and it was very special. So the wait was worth it.
Yeah, it was great finally seeing you on the field. It was 2 years in the making, but it was great seeing you. But with you telling everything, it just reminded me of your rookie season. You got on the team, and I just remembered you got cut 4 times and then re-signed a week later. Can you tell me about that? Did you know it was planned you're going to come back on, or?
Yeah, so on Tuesday, that's kind of when I got the call. Either I was going to get called to the practice squad, or called and said, "Hey, we don't need you this week." So that Tuesday, a lot of times was very long. That's our off day, so usually it's supposed to be like a nice, relaxing day for guys. But for me and others in my situation, it's kind of a stressful day. Hoping that phone doesn't ring some weeks, and it does ring other weeks. But yeah, I guess I just really got to see the business side of the NFL through last year, and just how few opportunities there are. And I was fortunate to get the weeks that I was on the practice squad, but yeah, there was a lot of times that I wasn't on, or didn't get that call as well. I think me living so close, that probably had a part play and cut me and then bring me back. It's not like they're have to pay for a flight to go back to California or something. I'm literally driving a half hour away to Lawrenceburg, so it wasn't much of a commute to get fired, I guess. But yeah, no, it was interesting, and I learned a lot through that process of just kind of how the league works. So
I mean, that's really. When I was so confused at first, and I look at my phone, I'm like, cut Drue? Let's get after it. And then the next week, he got re-signed, and then day later, we cut him again. But Going back to your Ohio State days, you had the famous and viral proposal at halftime. Can you tell us how that was planned out and how everything went with that?
Yeah, so that is kind of my claim to fame. And actually, I was just back at the spring game what was that, last weekend or 2 weekends ago? And so it's always kind of fun. It kind of feels like an anniversary anytime I watch the spring game now, and especially being there with my wife, who obviously was my girlfriend and then fiance that one day, and then also my 10-month-old daughter. It was kind of like a full circle moment, and we really got to soak it in, and got to enjoy the spring game together. And certainly more people remember me, I think, for that moment than any other moment in my college career, which is fine. If I'm known for loving my current wife more than anything else, I think not only me, but she'll be happy with that as well. But yeah, that I could go, and that could be a whole podcast by itself, how that whole moment happened. It was very stressful leading up to it. I didn't even know I was going to be able to do it until like Tuesday of that week. Just of all like because NIL wasn't a thing, everything was still very tight, and wasn't sure I was going to be able to even do it on the field because of, I don't know, branding issues, and I had to get like even like our athletic director to sign off on it, and there was even like a little bit of a miscommunication error right before it happened. She was like still in the stands as I was almost jogging out there to go do it. So I was like, this isn't going to work without her. Somebody go get her down from the stands. I don't know why it's taking so long, but obviously everything worked out, and she said yes, and I got to finish my career as a Buckeye, because if she said no, I would probably have a different alma mater at this point. So, but yeah, it was very fun, and it was a lot of fun in college, and that was certainly, I would say, a peak moment.
I mean, yeah, that was a beautiful moment. A funny story with that. I didn't know that was you that did. I saw the video. I was like, oh, that's great. And then a few years later, I saw like ESPN repost the video and tagged you. I was like, oh, that's Drue, isn't it?
It's usually right around Valentine's Day. Sometimes we'll get tagged in that video kind of resurfacing. So anytime someone wants to spread the love, it's not a bad way to gain some views, I guess, from these other.
Yeah, but again, great story, great proposal. I would have never thought of that myself. But moving on to more football-related questions. During the NFL Combine, Darren Simmons talked about that there's a possible punter competition, whether it be a free agent or maybe a draft pick or an undrafted free agent. How would you approach it in training camp, having some competition?
I mean, that's kind of what you expect at this level. They're gonna push you every step of the way, and even if there wasn't somebody in camp, they're gonna try to find one of the best 32 in the world to do it. So if you're not one of those 32, they're gonna find somebody. And so even if I was by myself and he didn't think I was getting the job done, I'm sure he'd go find someone else. So, but no, I'm open for it. Obviously, the last couple of years, I've had Kevin right there, pushing me. I think it's made me a better punter myself. So if there is someone else that's joining me in training camp or OTAs this year, I'm certainly open to it. And I think it makes not only myself or whoever else they bring in a better punter as well. So I think it really, competition, obviously, brings everybody to their fullest potential.
Yeah, I mean, I loved what you did last year with in terms of the punting in general. But is there anything you're working towards this off season?
I mean, just everything as a whole. I think I was able to learn a lot of things from not only Darren but Kevin. Having them both as a great resource through last season, especially once I got the role. And but I think just getting stronger, just hitting the weight room, and understanding like the longevity of the season too. I think that was something I kind of underestimated last year, because as we mentioned, the following year I really only played about half an NFL season, and this year I certainly got to experience playing football all the way to February, which is something I'd never done before. So, kind of pacing myself better this year, not kicking so much early in the season. So your legs are still pretty fresh, late in the season, especially what we plan on playing again in this year. So, but yeah, I mean, I think just, I think you can never get, never not be stronger, never not be, faster. And I think that's the big thing I've been working on, especially in these OTA days here too. So.
Can you talk to us a bit about Cal Adamitis, like how you thought he was doing last year and how you've seen him been doing? I know it's not been a lot, but how he's been doing the first week of OTAs with you?
Yeah, no, Cal stepped in great. I thought he did a great job. Not only the snapping side of it, but also the other part of it, which is blocking, which is something you don't necessarily have to do as much in college, just because the rules are a little different. But in the NFL, snapping is almost an afterthought. Really, the blocking part of it is almost more of a factor in who's going to get that starting long snapper position. And yeah, he got thrown into it quick. First game of the year, Clark goes down, and luckily that he was already on the practice squad, been through the preseason. They decided to keep him, so he was able to fill a role pretty relatively smoothly. And I thought he did a fantastic job of it. And obviously, he has another chance to continue, his career here as a Bengal. And yeah, just the week we've been back, we've got some work together. Me, Cal, and Evan, and already building up that the same routines we had during the season to come in even stronger.
Great hearing that. And last question I have is just, how have you been thinking about all the new players coming in and all the free agents? Have you been able to talk with any of them, and what are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, obviously we've only been here for a week, so it's more just kind of surface level communication, just saying hi to each other, kind of just getting to know them, just greeting. And but it seems like just a great group of guys. That's the first thing I think you really look at, is just how they mesh with the team. And just from a locker room standpoint, I think they're going to fit in really well. And we like to have fun, and I'm sure you saw a lot of videos of guys playing ping pong and cornhole together, and that's already continued back just this first week to build that cohesiveness in the locker room. And it seems like these guys are fitting in just fine. But yeah, it seems like they're ready to get to work, and I think that's kind of the MO of our locker room here. So I'm excited for another long run. I think they're going to play a big part in it.
With the whole ping pong and cornhole, just made me realize, I remember Marcus Bailey bought a pickleball. Has he set that up yet? He told me he's going to bring that to the locker room soon.
Pickleball in the locker, that'd be tough. I've actually played a decent bit. I was down in training in Alabama this past month, and they play a lot of pickleball down there. And so I think I'm pretty good at it. So if he sets it up, I might have to challenge him for the top spot in the locker room. But that'd be fun. I'm sure any game that doesn't is relatively safe for the guys. I'm sure Coach Taylor would be fine with us playing in there, because he likes walking in the locker room and seeing guys play together. So I think that plays a big part in our success.
And sorry, but another question that I just remembered, I'm asking every player now before the draft. Are there any Ohio State guys that you think, would it be cool if this guy was a Bengal? Would it be cool if this guy was in the locker room? I could see him every day this season.
Shoot. All of them. I've known all the guys that I know in the draft classes. Obviously I was able to play there and be there with them. And any guys that come to my mind, I know my long snapper is draft eligible this year. I think he just had a little, I think it was a local day with us this past week.
Yeah, it was at the prospect day.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're thinking about bringing him in for competition with Cal as well. I know it'd be good to catch up with him, but I don't have a problem with any of the Buckeyes coming out this year, and I think they'd help any team that they go on. So whether that's in Cincinnati or elsewhere, I wish them the best. But yeah, no one in particular really comes to mind.
Obviously, Ohio State fan here, but it'd be awesome to have any Buckeye in orange and black. But I think that's all we have for today. Thank you for coming on, Drue. And thank you for listening to the 513 podcast, everyone. Please subscribe. Please follow Drue, as he's going to have a Pro Bowl season at punter probably. And we'll see you next time.